Welcome to the Self-Dispensation Podcast. Today we have a message for the universe. We're going to get back into reading this divine revelation called Alpha Quine. And the chapter that we are reading from is called Asiatic Black Man. Now, it says, the Holy Quran was not written by Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. The angel Gabriel did not have a Holy Quran. Gabriel commanded Muhammad to recite in the name of Allah. Now, if Muhammad replied, I do not know how to read, then we should assume that Gabriel had some sort of book. Now let's stop right there and break this down real quick. We know that the Holy Quran was written after the death of Prophet Muhammad. We know that they went and got all of the things that people recorded that he taught and all of the things that people wrote down, and they took it all and they put it together and made the Holy Quran out of it. Quran has a date. The date is after the death of Prophet Muhammad is when the Holy Quran was put together. So if the angel Gabriel was talking to Prophet Muhammad and was teaching Prophet Muhammad, and he said, recite, and Prophet Muhammad's response to Gabriel telling him to recite, if his response was, I do not know how to read, then that implies that the angel Gabriel had a book. Because if Gabriel didn't have a book, he couldn't say read, and Prophet Muhammad's response could be like, I do not know how to read. The angel could not say recite, and the Prophet Muhammad could not say, I do not know how to read. That implies that Gabriel had a book. And that book was not the Holy Quran, because we know the date of when the Holy Quran was created. All right, so now, we know that Prophet Muhammad was not given a book. Prophet Muhammad was not given a book. We know that. So Gabriel had a book. Where is the book of Gabriel? Where's the book that Gabriel had that he taught Prophet Muhammad from? And who was the author of that book? And where is that book located now? Prophet Muhammad was not given a book, so he did not have the book or the knowledge that Gabriel was teaching him from. All right, so we know that Prophet Muhammad was not given a book because he had to memorize the revelations given to him, and he repeated them and recited them to others. So upon the teaching of Prophet Muhammad by the angel Gabriel, and Gabriel had a book. This what the story implies, that Gabriel had a book. He did not give Prophet Muhammad the book because Prophet Muhammad had to memorize the things that he was being taught. And he went and told it to other people. And this is the information that was gathered and put together to make the Holy Quran. And it's the same thing with the Bible. King James, the author of the Bible, or the organizer of the writing of the Bible, did not have a book. He went and got 66 scribes or scrolls, which were books that they stole, and they put it together in what is known as the Bible. So here are these two religious books that the world, well, not the world, that Europeans and their slaves, because if you were not a slave to the European colonizers, you do not believe in the Bible. The only people who believe in the Bible are the people whose country was colonized and terrorized and stolen. Those are the only people who believe in the Bible. So we know the origin of these two books that y'all believe is holy and claim God wrote. That we know that God did not write them, and we know the origin of both of those books. So now this book we reading from is called the Alpha Quran. And it's a divine revelation from God, and outside of the Torah, this is the only book written by the author of the knowledge. God wrote the Ten Commandments, and he wrote the instructions that he wanted the children of Israel to follow in what is known as the Torah. It was not a Bible. The first 5 books of the Bible is the Torah rewrote or translated, as they call it. And so it's distorted truth. But the actual book that was given to the children of Israel is called the Torah, and it was the first 5 books of the Bible before they corrupted and perverted it. So, and Moses, God wrote what he gave Moses. God wrote the Ten Commandments. Moses did not write that. God wrote it and gave it to him. And this book that we reading from, this Alpha Quran book, was written by me, the person it was revealed to. This is not a book that's translated. This is not a book where somebody had to go and gather some things that I said and put it together and all that stuff. This is a book written by me. So the Torah and the Alpha Quran are the only 2 books written by the author of the knowledge. Now it says this. Let's get back into this book. We reading a chapter out of the Divine Revelation, Alpha Quran, and this chapter is called Asiatic Black Man. Now listen. It says this: some of the revelations Prophet Muhammad had written down by scribes. So he had some scribes write down certain things that he recited to them. This is how the information was gathered. You had people that he told who remembered what he told, and you had people who wrote down things that he taught. And this is the information that they collected and put together in what is known as the Holy Quran. Now say, some of the revelations Prophet Muhammad had written down by scribes. However, the Holy Quran did not take its present form until after the death of Prophet Muhammad. I had a vision where I stood before God, who began to teach me many things. I then saw his messenger, who handed me a scroll and told me to read what was written on it. 23 scientists came to me and presented me with tales of the ancients or revelations. The angels Gabriel and Michael appeared before me and taught me the knowledge and wisdom of all revelations of the prophets and messengers of God. Now that is how this book, Alpha Quran, came about. I had a vision, and I was taken before the throne of God in my vision. I was given a mission, and then I was presented before 23 scientists who began to teach me all of the knowledge that is written in this book. This is not a translation. This is not a compilation of other books that were stolen. This is not second-hand information. This is a book written by the person that the information was revealed to. All right, now it says, I was then told to record the knowledge and wisdom in a book to be as guidance for the seventh dispensation. Now, if you don't know what the seventh dispensation is, I'm going to break that down real quick. Dispensation is the divine ruling of God. That's what a dispensation is. The ruling of God. It's when prophets are raised up. It's when messengers are raised up. It's when revelations are revealed. And it's called seventh dispensation because we believe that this is the seventh time that God has visited us and has produced a revelation for us and has uplifted one to be as a guide for us. That's why it's called seventh. And you can name back all the prophets. You can go back and name all of the prophets that came to us. Now, I'm not saying that there weren't other prophets in the world that went to other people. I'm saying that I am the seventh person sent to us. That is a chronology of events that have occurred in the past to get us out from under the 6,000-year rule of this devil, this wicked devil. Now, it says this. This book is written by the author of it. This is not second-hand knowledge. This is the only book of revelation in the world today. And the reason why God wanted that recorded in this book, because he knew that once I started teaching the book, the devil and his cohorts were going to try to corrupt and pervert the knowledge. And both the Bible and the Holy Quran talk about the devil and his cohorts and how they have perverted and corrupted the teachings of God and the revelations of God, and they continue to do it. This is their job, to distort the truth. They do not want y'all to know the truth because the devil is what? A liar. This is what the Bible teaches. The devil is a liar. Didn't Jesus say you a liar and you a murderer? He knew who they were. And they were after him because he were exposing them. See, anybody who comes into the world and says, hey, the devil is not in the ground, the devil is these people right here. And then you can go back. See, it's like a snake. You can't look at the trail of a snake and know the direction that the snake is traveling. You have to actually find the head of the snake. And once you see the direction that the head is facing, then you know the direction that the snake has traveled. So when you look at this snake, this serpent, this is why Jesus called them serpents. This is why he called them that. So when you look at the head of this snake, right? Where's the head of this snake? Here, in America. This is the head of the serpent. When you read the book of Revelations and it's talking about a serpent, when you read what Jesus said out of his own mouth talking about the serpent, and when you go and you have to find the head of the serpent is the United States of America. So now that we know that this is the head of the serpent, right? We can trace back all of its movements to find out where the snake has been, and we could look at all the damage that the snake has caused in his traveling to reach America. See, it's a pattern of behavior. It's a trail that leads back to where? Europe. Leads back to Great Britain. It leads back to other countries in Europe, because not all of the countries in Europe were part of Satan's attack on the world. Not all Europeans participated in it, but the main people who did it were the British. The British. And the reason why they did it is because before they got started, the Muslims tried to conquer Europe. And when the Muslims got into Europe and began to influence certain Europeans, that is when Satan began to explore and conquer the world under two faces. And this is why the world is in the condition that it is in today. You have to remember what Satan said. He said, I am going to go to and from the front and from the back, from the side and from the side, and I am going to cause every last one of them to stumble. They will never rise up because I am going to cause every last one of them to stumble. And you know what God told Satan when he said that? He said, man, listen, I am going to destroy you, and I am going to destroy everybody who follows you. So I want y'all to look at what God said. He said, I am going to kill everybody who follows you, including you. So for all the people who are part of the devil's evil and wicked religions, who are part of the devil's evil and wicked society, see, it don't matter what color you are. It don't matter what your language is. It don't matter your culture. What matters is if you are riding with this devil, God said that he is going to destroy this devil and everyone who follows him. Everybody who follows. And this is what you see going on in the world today. They call it terrorism, but it's a war going on between the righteous and the wicked. Look at the people who America is fighting against. They fighting against people who pray 5 times a day. They fighting against people who fast. They fighting against people who believe in God, who try to dress modestly, who don't do drugs, who don't drink alcohol. Look at the people who they are at war with. They are fighting with the righteous people. But they telling y'all that these people are terrorists, and they telling y'all that all of this stuff about these type of people. But when you look at these people and look at their lifestyle, you say, well, these people are more in alignment with the lifestyle that God advocates. Then when you look at the America, we are more in alignment with the devil, man, and what the devil do. Everything going on in America is evil and is wicked. That's what devilism is. So when you look in that, so they doing what the devil said that he was going to do. He said, I was going to mislead all of them. And what did Jesus say? He said, they're going to come in my name and they're going to mislead many. These people are the deceivers. Jesus told us exactly who they was. And then when you find the head of the snake, which is America, and you trace its tail back and look at all the places that this snake has been, and look at the condition of the people that they were in before the devil showed up, and then you look at the condition that the people are in today after the devil showed up, like, I can't understand what y'all confused about. Because the Native Americans, the Indians here in America, we can start right here. The Native Americans or the Indians here in America, they had a life before the devil showed up. They had a life. And they was here living in peace amongst each other. And then this devil showed up, and what happened? They began to be murdered. The women began to be raped. The land was stolen. And that's just America. Because we could also go to the Caribbean islands. What happened when they showed up in the Caribbean islands? People began to be murdered. The women began to be raped. The land was stolen. Then you go to South America. What happened when they showed up in South America? The people began to be murdered. The women began to be raped, and the land was stolen. Everywhere that this devil has been, it's the same thing. So I'm confused as to what y'all confused about. Now let's finish reading this up real quick. The only book or revelation in the world today written by the one it was revealed to is this book, the Alpha. I have taken the scroll from the hand of the angel. Law is created out of love. When you love something or someone, you govern what you love by law. You govern what you love by law, man. And I'm going to give this example for all of the women, because the women are the most abused people in the world today, right? And I'm going to give y'all this example. And let me repeat this first. When you love something or someone, you govern what you love by law, right? Now, law is limitations. That's what law is. Law is limitation. Law says you can go this far, you can go this fast. You have to live according to these principles. That's what law is, right? So just say a guy show up at your house for his job, supposed to be doing a job, right? He could be the plumber. He could be the maintenance man. He could be the delivery man. He could be the mailman. Say he show up at your house doing his job. You let him in to do his job. He begins to flirt on you. He begins to touch you inappropriately. And you get offended, right? And you put him out. Get out of my house. What are you doing? You're supposed to be dropping off this furniture. You're supposed to be bringing this package. You're supposed to be delivering this mail. You're supposed to be unclogging my sink, right? But he is violating the law. So you put him out. Then he calls you a little while later. Oh, I'm sorry. I know I messed up the first time. Maybe I could come and make it better for you. Order something else. I'll drop it off this time. I'm going to be better. You say, all right, well, I'll forgive you, man. Just don't do it again. Then next thing you know, he sends you some illicit material. Or he even comments and sends you an illicit, disrespectful comment, right? So you say, hey, hold on, man, what are you doing? You say, oh, man, I love you so much. I like you. I just can't, stop thinking about you. Let me come, and I know I ain't do right the first time. Let me come get a second chance at it. And you say, no. Then it turns into a conversation. He talks you down. You let him come through. Y'all fuck or whatever. Send you some money. Get tricked with you, whatever. Right? That is not a relationship built on love. That's not a relationship built on friendship. That's not a relationship that's built on anything within the remnants of the law. That is a violation of the law. So when this says when you love something or someone, you govern what you love by law. So this is for all the women. Message for the universe. If you meet a person and they not treating you lawfully, then that ain't real love, man. Ain't no person who loves you gonna rape you. Ain't no person who loves you going to violate you. Ain't no person who loves you going to corrupt you. Because you got to think, right, for women who say they are not prostitutes, right? For a person to treat you like a prostitute is disrespectful if you are not a prostitute, if you're not one. So that's not a person dealing with you in love. That's a person dealing with you in violation of so many laws that they need to be murdered. That's somebody that needs to be murdered. Now listen, let's get back into this book. Message to the universe. Law is limitation, and life has to be governed and maintained by laws. Now, do you know what one of the problems that the devil has with all of us? They always challenge the laws that we believe in to govern ourselves in peace. They don't believe in law, man. That's why it says that the lawless one has to be revealed. They don't believe in no law, man. They do everything that is against, and I ain't saying the law because they got laws in America. There's laws in Europe, there's laws all around the world, right? I'm not talking about those laws. I'm talking about divine laws. They do not believe in the laws of God. They do not believe in divine laws. Anything that a decent person's supposed to do, anything that a human being's supposed to do, they don't believe in nothing like that, man. Just look around, man. Everything they do wicked and evil. They do not believe in divine laws. Then it says this, right? Law is limitation, and law has to be governed and maintained by limits. The restricted laws are the key to our success. However, law does not change people. Now listen, let me repeat that. Law does not change people. So if a person comes to your house as a plumber, as a mailman, as a delivery man, as the mailman, as a person supposed to be fixing something or whatever, right? If that person is not following the law of his job, what make you think that he could follow the law of a relationship? Because relationship has laws. Relationship comes with laws. If you're gonna be in a relationship with me, you gotta follow my laws. That's gonna govern this relationship. In other words, without the respect for law, there will never be peace. This is why you see certain people, right? No matter what you're doing, as peaceful as you are, it always turns into confusion. It's always confusion. No matter what they do, who they do it with, there is always going to be confusion. And the reason for the confusion is that this is a person who has no respect for law. They have no respect for law. So if they see you living lawlessly, they're going to do everything in their power to make you a violator of the law also. That's what the devil do. So this book teaches that the restricted laws are the key to our success. And this is why a lot of people say, man, with all of the devils that are after me, all of the wicked and evil people who are after me, they say they can't see how I survive, how I'm still alive, I'm not in prison, because all of the traps that the devil set for me, they say we can't see how you still alive and not in prison, because they know that this is what the devil wants to do to me. And the reason why it doesn't work, the reason why it does not work is because I know that the law is the key to my success. See, the devil cannot do anything to me as long as I am acting within the limits of the law. As long as I'm acting within the limits of the law, the devil cannot do anything, because the devil is the man of lawlessness. And everybody that they have murdered, everybody that they have set up and put in prison, everybody whose character they have assassinated, are people who they enticed and influenced to break the law. And once you break the law, you become part of the devil's playing field, and the devil will destroy you. You will end up dead or in jail by this wicked devil if you do not follow the law. And we talking about the divine laws of God. If you do not stay within the limits of godly people, this devil will destroy you, because that's what the devil does. You got to remember, what did they do to Jesus? They took him on top of a mountain, right? And he told Jesus, say, man, look down there. And I showed Jesus all of the good women that Jesus might have liked. Showed Jesus all of the money. Showed Jesus all of the luxury things. And then what did the devil tell Jesus? Bow down to me and I will give you all of this. See? Now y'all understand it? Now when you look at society and you look at what the devil has to offer, and you look at what he's saying, if y'all want this, bow down to me. Become a homosexual, become a drug addict, become an alcoholic, become an adulterer, become a spouse abuser, become a child molester. If you want to have all of these things, this is what the devil offers. And that's why I'm in the condition I am in, because I refuse to bow down to the devil. And this is why they murdered Jesus. This is why everywhere Jesus went, the devils were picking up stones, trying to stone him. This is why Jesus was so hated. You gotta remember, Jesus was hated by a society. He wasn't hated by just anybody. He was hated by a society of people. He had people that embraced him, but he had a certain society that was after him, and this society is the wicked people of Satan. And they call themselves Muslims, and they call themselves Christians today. These are the same evil and wicked people that were after Jesus and seeking to take this man's life. All because he would not bow down and start worshiping the devil. Now listen, let's get back into this book. We're reading this holy book, and it's called the Alpha Quran. Now it says, the brothers that you see running around, always trying to impose the law on others, are always the ones with the most to have. They're always the ones with the most to have. The person you see always trying to impose a law on you is the person with the most to hide. Because when you sit back and look at them and you say, damn, okay, I can't do none of this. You don't want me to do none of this. And then you look at all the stuff they doing, it's like, like what? You know, it's like what? You know, like you enforcing the law on me, but you breaking every law on the planet. See, those are the people with the most to have, man. So this is why you always have to look at what people say. You always have to look at what people do. And you got to put it together. And you got to say, okay, I get it. You know what I'm saying? Now let's get back into this book, Message to the Universe. Now it says this: we all have human frailties. See, and the reason why I believe they wanted me to follow that sentence up with that, because they didn't want me to appear as a person showing y'all who the devil is and showing y'all the ways of the devil, and then a person say, well, you do certain things yourself, right? And so the book is saying we all have human frailties. Everybody, whether you good or bad, is going to make mistakes, is going to respond to things incorrectly at times. Right? We all do that. But the devil is somebody that is never doing good. The devil don't do good at all. The devil is always the devil. So now listen. We all have human frailties, and we have all fallen short of the glory of God. We have become evil, wicked, thieves, murderers, liars, haters, insolent, haughty, proud, self-conceited, boasters, disobedient to our parents, ignorant, unworthy, and meritless. This is what Satan conditioned us to be and how to live. So I'm going to end this for now, but I will come back and finish this chapter up later. And on that note, I leave you as I can. Peace.